Alright, let's keep doing the rest of the facial expression. This time we're gonna do the eye, finish the eye, and do the cheek, the nose, and something on the mouth too. For the eye, the last thing I want to do is the blend shape for the pupil. Let's go there, go to the geometry folder. I do have my left eye. Okay. Let's go to shape editor. I'm gonna create a new blend shape for this geometry. It's gonna be called Irish blend shape. Give it a new target. This one I'm gonna call it shrink. Okay. The shrink one, I'm just gonna make this middle circle smaller. It does feel like the pupil is shrinking. Alright. Let me create a new target. This is gonna be called left eye iris dilation. Okay, the dilation one apparently is gonna go out. So let me scale it. I don't want to destroy what's happening on the outside, so my soft selection is the range of my soft selection is smaller here. Now I have those two blend shapes. To drive those two, I just need one slider. So let me go to Delo 2 and then create a slider called iris or pupil. Alright, okay, and then drag it up. This one, I'm going to use prelimit to vertical, set active, and this time it's going to control those two new blend shapes I have. So it's not on the face anymore, it's actually on the geometry now. Here, so I'm just gonna go there and select the shrink one and then use -y. The dilation one will be using +y. Now if I drag this slider, you can see I can control the pupil now. So one thing I don't like here is also making the dark area here bigger. So I'm gonna go there and do some tweaking. Shrink it back and make the soft selection smaller and then shrink it in. Alright, that should do it. So now I have the pupil finished. Let's move on to the cheek. For the cheek, I just need to create a new target on the skin. Let's call this one left cheek up. Okay, and now go grab some. Oh, let's close the slider here. Let me grab those two edges, use soft selection and drag it up. Make sure you don't have the symmetry on. Okay, drag it up. And also I need the surroundings to be all going up. All right. Also those ones, I'm gonna drag those up too, and also the last thing I want to do here is make them go forward to maintain the volume. Alright. also go back and see the geometry, see if they're going too crazy. Sometimes it does go too far. Let's see. I think it's okay now. Alright. Still want to see more volume here. Okay. Now to create the other side, I just need to duplicate and rename this one right cheek up, and it's gonna be flipped. So flip target. Alright. Now let's create controllers for that. I need a new slider. Okay, let's call this cheek. Okay, and then this one is actually gonna drive both of those. So prelimit, full, and then shrink limit, -y. Now the easiest way is just to use 0 to set active and then select the blend shape. Okay, and use positive x, positive y for the left side, negative x, negative y for the right side. But just to show you how that is actually done under the hood, I'm going to go over the node-based way to do that first. So let's add in the controller here and also the blend shape. Okay, add it in. Okay, I don't need to see those things. Now to do that, I need to utilize both translate x and y to control the weight of those two cheek blend shapes. Now the first thing I want to do is use plus minus average to add x with 1. So I'm gonna rename this one cheek. Okay, and then use input 2D because I have 2 to control. This time let's just use input 2dx. Let's go to the plus minus average node, add a new atom in the input 2ds, and put in 1 there. Okay, so I'm adding 1 to the translation x, and then the result will be then clamped up. So this one will be called clamp cheek. Okay, this one will be used to clamp the value here from 0 to 1, and then the output will go into the left cheek. Okay. Oh, sorry, now that I also need to multiply this by the translation y, so this will be renamed cheek. Okay. I'm installing something, so it's kind of slow. Let me drag it open. All right. So I'm then gonna multiply the clamped value of that with translation y, and the result goes to the left cheek. Okay. Now if I drag this up, oh, it's not doing anything here. Adding 1, so the output go to input. Oh, that's weird. I'm adding 1 here. Oh, not 1D, sorry. The output 2dx actually. Alright. So now when I drag it up, it's doing the left side, When I drag it to the left side, it's gonna remain the same. If I drag it to the other direction, it's gonna go down. Okay. Now to make the right side working, I just need another multiply divide. So I'm just gonna rename this right cheek. Alright, and this one I'm gonna multiply it with translate x, multiply the translate x with -1, and the result goes to input 2dy, and input 2d1 y will also be 1. So we're basically reversing the value. When the x goes to the other direction, we reverse the value and use this value to do the same thing. So here you also want to use the min-max from 0 to 1, and then the output here goes to input 1y. The translation y will then go to input 2y. The result, output y, goes to right cheek. Now if you go there and drag it left and right, you see now I can control both like so. Alright. Now another way to do so is coding. So let me just delete this one and redo it. This time let's use programming to do that. So let's right click on the left cheek up and create new expression. That will open the expression editor. Let's change the select filter to by expression name. I'm just gonna name this one cheek, and then start typing in my code. The code will be facial expressions and dot the attribute, which is left cheek up. Okay, equals, let's try equals 1 first. If I do so and create, that will make the left side go up. Okay, instead of using 1, I'm gonna use the values from the controller here. So let's copy the name of the controller. It's translation x tx plus 1. Okay, and then clamp this value into 0 and 1 range with comma here. So from 0 to 1, I'm gonna clamp the value of the translation x of the controller plus 1, clamp that result into 0 and 1, and then the results will be then multiplied by the controller's translation y. Okay, let's edit it. When you do that, the left side will be already working. For the right side to work, all I have to do then is copy the code here, and this time I'm gonna multiply this by -1 and then add it. Oh, sorry, the right side this time. Add it, and you see the expression is actually here. It's a node. The translation x and y will be read by this node, and then do some calculation, and then use that to control that. Alright, so now both left and right sides should be working. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it as the code way because it appears to be the easiest way here. Alright, let's do something with the mouse. For the mouse, let me open it here first, and then duplicate it, unlock the translation, and then drag it out. This one will be used to create the mouse open blend shape. Sometimes when you guys have some weird movement on the body already, for example that, and then duplicating it will not be able to be used, will not be clean enough. When you use this kind of model to do the blend shape back to the model here, you will have the foot moving, so that's not cool. To fix problem like this, you can use the original shape here we used to do the blend taper, right? Use this one, select it first and shift select the one you need to fix, go to deform, blend shape, okay, and now go to the inputs and then change the blend shape to 1, okay. That will actually bring all the movements back to the original shape. Okay, but I want to have the mouth open. I want to fix that to make that go back. To do so, let's go back to 1 here. To do so, you need to use deform, pen weight, blend shape. Okay. Now let's change the value to 0. Okay. And then let's paint the mouse back. This way, I will have a decent result on the mouse, but I have other parts guaranteed to be okay, right? Because those white part here will be matched exactly to the original shape. Now after that, just Alt-Shift-D to delete the history of the model, and then we can start working on this one. For the mouse open, let's have the symmetry on. For the mouse open, one thing I want to do is bring those two edge loops, this one and that one, try to bring them closer to make the corner of the mouse sharper, because that's what happens. It's actually not that smooth here, so I'm gonna drag this one down and probably in, because the curvature is like that. So just be really careful about this part. Okay, same thing here, drag that thing up. Time let's make the soft selection smaller. Okay, drag this up, and then this time it's gonna go out. Okay, I mean, even those out by, you know, dragging those a little bit. So now I have a sharper corner here. Alright, and then I also want to have more curve here, right? So I'm gonna drag this out. Same thing here, drag it out. Same thing here, I'm just gonna drag this line in the middle, drag this one down. Alright, so that forms a nice oval kind of shape. Check that one out too. Okay. Alright, let's go to the side view here. This is one thing I don't quite like is, you know, this curve here. I'm gonna try to make it flattened. So maybe just drag that one forward. Alright. One of the things I want to fix with this is this area is too thin, so I need to drag it out. That line needs to be dragged up and out like that. Alright. Still don't quite like what's happening here, so it does need you to do some more tweaking here. The mouse is probably one of the hardest thing to do, so you have to be really patient and careful too. Alright, That part is going out too much, I think. Let me go drag that in. Oh. Don't make it too much unnecessary adjustment either. You want to still make it nice and smooth. Just gonna do something here real quick. I think still feels like really thin over there, so drag those vertex out. Alright, I think I'm dragging those too much. Push them back in a little bit. Maybe that one goes down. Alright. Okay. Maybe that one is going in too much. You can go like forever on those kind of things. There's never a perfect result. You can always refining it, but you know, I think that's good enough for now. Alright, that's already very exaggerated. I don't think you can go that far. Probably you can reach something similar. Anyway, so that's the mouth open. Let's duplicate the original shape one more time here. This time I'm gonna make the mouse go up. So let me select those loops here. Okay. Scale them down and drag them up. Okay. And then select those faces here and move them forward. That's because when the mouse goes up, it pushes the tissues here up. And there is only that amount of distance here. That means to maintain the volume, they have to become bigger. Okay, just drag them forward. And also when you do that, you want to drag the lip forward too, because for the same reason. So let me just drag those vertex forward. So that's mouse close, and then let's do the mouse widen, meaning the corner is going out. All I have to do is drag it this way. I don't want to go too far though. Something that much is probably already too much. Let me then also scale them down this way. Alright, and then because of that, because of the corner is going out, it's pushing the tissue here, so I need them to be moved outwards like this. Oftentimes when you see the corner, when you move the corner of the mouse outwards, it seems like they're also dipping in. I think that's mostly because the tissues on the surrounding area is going out, so they do feel like going in somehow. So let me just try to mimic that. Still don't want to go too far on this part. Still want to have something nice and smooth, so I'm not gonna intentionally do that too much. I think that happens a lot when you actually smile. It's gonna push the tissue up like that. I will have those facial expression blend shapes added later on, so this time it's just for the overall control. So I'm not going to do too much exaggerations here. Okay, that one is not smooth. This one is too far in. See, now the tweaking here is really tedious to me. You know, you have to be really careful where the point, those points are. Keep them smooth and also form the curve you needed, like so. Alright, so that's the widen part. The last part, which is the narrow, is probably the easiest way, easiest one to do. Let me just grab the corner one more time. Alright, and this time I'm gonna just push it in. And because of that, let me push those in too. Because of that, the volume here will also becomes bigger, and also the mouse will go forwards. Like this. Okay, let's just keep things simple for now. I think there's something there is, you know, opened. Let me slightly change it. Alright, and because of the stretching, those parts will become more flattened. They're already quite flattened, so I don't really have to change too much then. Alright, so I have 4 blend shapes to work with. Let me rename those blend shapes. This one will be called mouse open. The next one will be mouse close. This one will be mouse widen. This one will be called mouse narrow. Okay, let's select them one by one and then go to the shape editor here and right click on the facial expressions, add selection as target. Now I have 4 more blend shape to work with. Let me go close the mouse here. I need a new slider for that, so create new slider. This one will be called mouse. Actually, mouse overall. Okay, let's drag it up. And change it to full set active, and this one is going to control all 4 blend shapes I just added. For the open, I'm gonna use negative y. Close will be positive y. Widen will be negative x. Narrow will be positive x. Alright, let's see how this looks like. Okay. We have those movements to control the mouse. It's not finished yet. You see, this shape is ugly. This one is also ugly. That one is ugly too. That one is, I think it's okay, but I still don't like that. So for those 4 corners, they are actually not as good as I expected. So I'm gonna use corrective shape later on next class. So just do those things, make them as clean as possible, but they don't have to look good on those 4 poses yet. Alright, that's for today, and I will see you next class. Alright, I think I forgot to do the nose, so let me do this here real quick. For the nose one, I just need to create new targets. This one will be called left nose. Let's go grab the vertex here. Oops. Something was wrong. When that happens, you can use sculpt tool here and then delete those color sets. For some reason that always happened to me. Maya is really not doing anything good at all. Apparently it's not doing anything good here. Alright, I'm gonna use the sculpt tool first to do the shape. So I'm gonna use grab and then just grab, oh, no symmetry on. So Control Shift, right mouse button, symmetry off. Alright, let me grab the side of the nose up. And because of that, those also will go up. But I will also have a very sharp crease here around the nose when that happens. So that's why I'm pulling those vertex out. Let's holding down Control Shift and go up to disable the wireframe so it's easier to see what's happening. Let's drag some of the skin up. Also the nose will go out a little bit. For some people, the sculpting tool is really nice to have. To me, it's okay, but not really like something I must have. There's other workflows like even using ZBrush to do blend shape. You know, I just think that those are not really necessary, and it's very easy to mess up with other parts and or go too far. So I think using the traditional dragging and moving way is just cleaner. So that's why I only use that way most of the times. But if necessary, I can try to use those things. After all, those are designed for this particular purpose. So the sculpting tool in Maya is designed for doing blend shape. Alright. Let me go delete the color set. and that's my nose going up here. Right click on it and duplicate, and this new one will be my right nose, and I need to flip it. Cool. Now to eventually control it, I need another one like this. I guess it's your choice to have two, slider like that or one thing like this. I don't have any opinion on that. Some people believe it's better to have those on the same controller so you can control both, but I wouldn't really bother to drag those two instead of just one. Alright, so let me go there, go to the sliders and create the nose. Use prelimit, full, shrink limits, shrink negative y, set active, grab the blend shape. The left one will be controlled by positive x, positive y. The right one will be negative x, positive y. Now I have this one to control the nose. Alright, cool. That should be everything now. So your assignment is finished, everything I did here. So we can move on to more stuff on the mouse.